Korea.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm
Listen,
fine.
I understand that you live in this neighborhood. Now, what is this exhibit about primarily?
The exhibit was about a political activist, and they give lectures on all his teachings. So around 4 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, they start giving his lectures, which is primarily the most important part of this exhibit. He talks about philosophy and he philosophizes about everything that I'm gonna butcher the guy's name, Gramsci, stands for. They do different things for the children. They have an activity where the children from the community can go on the internet. They have art projects the children can do. They show you the books that Gramsci was interested in and his life history. And then they have community involvement with some of the graffiti in the area. The community was involved in building this structure. They were part of the Tenant Association. That's about it. And other than that, I really don't comprehend why it's truly here.
Yeah, at least the philosophy behind it, right?
Right. As a community member, I think it's an eyesore.
Yes.
When I first saw it, it looked like one of those homeless shanty towns. Other than that, they give some music sometimes for the tenants. Unfortunately, my opinion is I'm glad it's leaving tomorrow.
Okay.
It really did create an eyesore. This is a beautiful scene. When this structure's not here, you see the clean grass. You're able to walk around and enjoy your morning air in this community.
But you tolerated it for a little bit, right? But I
was-
guess it's reached its limit probably with you.
It
Right?
has reached its limit. The issue is that I think if more tenants or more members of this community were informed about
Okay,
this decision, I don't think it would have passed. But the lack of community involvement from the tenants is an issue. You can't complain about something that goes up if you don't attend the meetings.
Right, that's
to
right.
deny it.
That's right.
So
Representation is
this
important.
is what we were represented, even though he went to multiple NYCHA communities. Fortunately, I guess we were blessed with this. Hopefully the children learn maybe something.
Now, let me ask you something. Now, you're out here with a class. What school do you attend and what class is this?
I attend the College of New Rochelle. It is. I am proud. I am proud to be at the College of New Rochelle. And this is the Introduction to Photography class. We're out here on a field trip, taking pictures. The ultimate goal of this is to interpret what we feel about this project and then take pictures to back up our writing assignment.
Go
My
ahead.
name is Lynette McCoy, and I'm at College of New Rochelle.
And why are you out here today?
Very good question.
Yes.
Very good question. I'm here to see a monument about Antonio Gramsci.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm not too certain. I wasn't familiar with who he was and
Yes.
what he did.
For the people, good day. My name is Millie Riviera.
Yes.
And I am from the College of New Rochelle as well. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, projects was primarily for people of color. I'm getting mixed feelings because when I first came here, I saw Trayvon
Yes.
picture, and I totally am for equality. So me and my daughter looked at the sign and we was like, wow, that's deep. But then I spoke to one of the residents. He had given me a different information. So now I'm a little confused about why they're really here. And I think the question for the people should always be, why are certain projects being put in our community, and do we really understand the detail, and why is it placed in our community? At first sight, my first question was, why isn't these types of projects put in every community? Now, getting one of my residents' perspective that actually lives here, I'm like, whoa, we need to ask more questions. So I still am on a mixed feelings, but I'm still glad that I came.
Yeah, as far as I know about projects, I think they were primarily built for like GIs returning from war back in the day, and then they got to be what do you call, identify with people of color.
So are we the GIs now, and we're going to continue to be GIs, and when is it going to stop? Because at the end of the day, our children do need to live and just have a good time at the park as well, and get educated, you know.
Yeah, but do you think it sends a message too that because the government subsidizes and build these projects that we could turn building back to the hands of the people that live here? I mean, that's what I see in terms of these structures, that the people can build with their own hands.
I think the question is, again, I'm still in limbo, and the question should be who's subsidizing and what's their objective, and how do we fit in? And a lot of the questions that we don't ask is, what is their objective, and does it assist us as well?
Right.
I don't know if that answered the question, but I as I'm going along through the education system, I'm noticing that anything that's being subsidized, at the end of the day, you should ask, is it really helping the people's needs, or is it helping somebody's organization? We need to service the people.
The main objective is, what is a project? Just the name alone, what was the project? What was the ulterior motive of building projects? That's the question that we need to ask.
No, but I like that she asked that question, because a
You're
project
getting there with
doesn't look too indifferent from a jail institution.
Right.
Even when you look at the inside of a project, it has
Say that again. Are we what?
Are we lab rats? Is this a project to see if we're gonna kill each other? How we gonna dwell amongst each other? I think the projects is a lab rat situation. I think we're here to put together, and that's why they put it in certain communities, for us to have a whole bunch of sicknesses, a whole bunch of diseases, a whole bunch of incarcerations, felonies, I'm gonna have whatever. to disagree with that.
All right.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. It depends where you live. That makes the project a hazard to a tenant, because the main thing about projects is that these are the communities that you live in, and if you destroy what you live in, that's why people talk bad about that situation. I live in the project, not this one, but then the one in the front. It was a lot of seniors in there. The seniors are moving out or passing away, and so the apartments are becoming empty, so younger people are moving in. So that tranquility that that building had is no longer there, because unfortunately kids are having kids, and they're not being taught that you do not mess up where you live. You respect where you're living at. You don't piss in the hallways. You don't throw your garbage out in the hallway. You take it, you put it in a bag, you bring it to a trash can, you put it in a dumpster. So because there are other projects in, let's say, Columbus Avenue, and they're not talked as bad as this. Down in Chelsea Park, there's projects. So it really is the tenants.
They're also turning many of these projects into co-ops. And if back to what you said that this is what was the word that you said earlier? The lab rats. If it is lab rats, we have enough cameras in this community to show the people what works and doesn't work. So how come there hasn't been enough change going through?
Because tenants don't get involved. Tenants stay in their apartments. They complain to each other. They don't go to tenant association meetings. They don't attend the community meetings. If you don't attend these meetings and come as a majority and not as a minority, you cannot make the change happen.
And I believe that, and I also believe, though, through some past experience, that some of these tenants associations might be fixed, meaning they know who to put there to just make it look as if it's working. And these are good questions that need to be put on the table to really cause some changes around here.
But the project has become a culture of poverty. This has become a situation where you have kids, your kids have kids, that stay in the projects. You don't leave the projects. We become entrapped in the projects because this is what works for us. You have lower income, you don't have to pay that much. You could be in a project for $80 a rent. What? The whole thing? No, it isn't. It's not. The projects are changing now. The projects are changing. The way to get into the projects now is it used to be that when you were on public assistance, you were first priority for the project. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now they want working or social security people.
Okay.
People coming in.
Okay.
You understand?
Well, we're gonna go over there for a minute.
What happens is now a tenant like myself, I pay 51% of my rent, of my income. I pay here in the projects. I pay 51%. So it goes according to your income. They want to move in more working people and more people that have an official income and not public assistance. So they are trying to make a change. But when making their, what happens is that I'm a tenant here. I don't leave. My child stays here. My child's child then stays here because of the convenience of what they thought in the past.
So what's
was rent,
but
was low income rent.
What is the objective now? They're trying to push us out again?
They're trying to push us out of the property.
Is to answer questions when you have questions.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna speak up. We're gonna speak up because I'm videotaping this. So he prefers question and answer.
When did this come about and why? What was the mission?
Yeah, the mission is to do an artwork, to do a monument. This is a monument. It's called Gramsci Monument. It's a new kind of monument. You know, I am an artist who think about the notion of monument, a monument today. And this is my understanding of monument today.
Are you working with the community or with outside organizations?
No, of course. And my understanding of monument is that it is with residents. Residents. Another understanding is why the monument, where the monument is. It's not in the city center. It's not in a park. It's not the Rockefeller Plaza.
I think that's everybody's question.
Yeah.
Why in the projects?
Or it's not in front of a official building, but it's where people are living, where people are confronting reality, where people are sharing problems of every day, like 400,000 other persons who lives in New York, because there are 400,000 people who lives in New York City housing projects. So this is why it is here, because I decided as an artist when I can do a monument, then I can choose where it is. So I can choose, I can do it in the city center or in Park Avenue where other artworks are, or I can try to do it where I want, that it makes sense to me. And to respond to your question, because it's here, of course, I do it with the residents who are here.
Do you think that you reach more people doing it here versus the other places that you named?
It's not about reaching more people. It's about reaching what I call the non-exclusive audience, which is the people who are perhaps not interested in art, who are perhaps who doesn't know art, who perhaps even her passion is not art. So this, I think, these people I want to implicate in my work also. That's why it is here. But this is difficult. It's difficult. It's not easy to interest people who never heard about art to art or philosophy. So, but this is my challenge, and that is why I want to do it here. So not to reach the most amount of people, the most quantity of people, but to reach the people who, to me, are not excluded of art. And this, you have to do an effort, I think, and to go where they are. Here in the projects, for example, art, who loves art are excluded. They can come here, and they can come, and they are coming. They are not excluded. That's why I call it non-exclusive. But the problem is, when it's on a high line in New York City, when it's in Rockefeller Plaza, or when it is in front of a museum or an official building, the risk is that they're
without, they don't partake in.
Yes, there is a lot of people coming, but also a lot of people who are already interested in art and who are already a kind of exclusive public.